Hi everybody, Josh and Adam here with Modular Greenhouses. In response to the quarantine and the cancellation of our favorite home and garden show here in Reno, it was supposed to be this weekend, we had a request to do a virtual tour of our greenhouse, and we thought it was a good idea and that we would do that. Go over some of the benefits and features of the greenhouse and some of our accessories and how-tos and things like that. But first I figured, we should talk about why we want to garden. Adam, why do we want to garden?
I garden because I think it's the most important thing that you can do for your family and for yourself is knowing where your food comes from and ensuring that it is safe to consume and it's not covered with pesticides and insecticides, as well as the taste. I mean, you can taste the difference between something that's homegrown and something that you buy at the supermarket that has been genetically modified to transfer well and to the supermarket.
Nobody would ever turn down a homegrown tomato.
And I bet you could even tell the difference. Anybody would be able to tell the difference.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
But we have a few talking points of key features of the greenhouse that we want to go ahead and walk through. So what type of material is the shell of the greenhouse made out of, Josh?
That's a good question. The frame of the greenhouse is made out of aircraft grade aluminum. It's the strongest and lightest material on the planet until you go to titanium. And it does not rust, has a 25-year life expectancy. So the entire greenhouse and the frame and structure is made out of the aluminum. The doors, the hinges, everything.
And that's some of that real cheap Chinese aluminum, right? I mean, that's as cheap as it gets?
Nope, this is aircraft grade aluminum that is made and manufactured here in the United States. And we take it, we cut it up, we drill the holes, and we weld it here in Reno, Nevada.
Well, that's great to know. Talk about a quality product. So what about this plastic? I mean, that's got to be really, really cheap and flimsy, right? What type of material is that, Josh?
Yeah, the plastic, it looks really flimsy and it feels really flimsy just by how light it is. But it's actually extremely durable, and we'll post a link to our kicking video and our engineering video so that you can see all the testing that we've done at UNR to show how strong that this plastic is, and it's what helps us with all of our specs to be able to hold up to the greenhouse.
So is this stuff going to start to yellow and degrade? Is it going to, after 2 years, am I going to have to replace it, or how long is this stuff supposed to last?
That's a good question. So the polycarbonate plastic comes with a manufacturer's warranty of 10 years, and that it won't turn yellow or get brittle or break, or that it maintains 92% of its light transmission over the 10-year period. So you'll see a little bit of discoloration after 2 or 3 years, and a little more, but from its original clear look when it's brand new, but it maintains 92% of its transmission for 10 years is the guarantee.
Okay.
And we have the guarantee on our website if you want to look at it.
So then after 10 years, do you have a replacement plan for this, or am I just out of luck?
Yeah, every 10 years we have a replacement package. You just we pull up your order and see what size greenhouse you have and how many panels, and we ship you the panels already cut to size. And every 10 years you will have to unscrew the panels and put them back on, but the screw holes are already there, and you just put the screws back in. And it should take, on a greenhouse about this size, which is an 8x16, it'll take 2 people about 4 to 6 hours tops, about a day.
Okay, great. So I've got a list here of frequently asked questions. So how well does this hold up to the wind? Is this thing going to blow down, or?
Yeah, that's a big worry, especially here and in the Rocky Mountains all across the states. So our greenhouse is, the standard package, the way you see it now, is engineered to withstand 110 mile an hour wind. And with our wind snow bracing, it will withstand up to 130 mile an hour wind. And we guarantee that for 10 years. The entire structure has a 10-year warranty and guarantee against manufacturer's defects and against the elements. We are the only greenhouse company in the country, maybe the world, residential greenhouse, that guarantees their product for 10 years against all the elements.
Wow, that is quite the warranty. Now, wind isn't the only concern here in Reno or in the Rocky Mountains. So what about snow? I mean, can this thing get covered with snow? Is the whole roof gonna collapse?
Yes, snow is a pretty big concern here, and specifically up in Tahoe and Truckee, where we have a lot of greenhouses. And what we tell people is that the actual engineering is made to withstand 30 pounds of snow load, ground snow. So that's about 2 feet of snow. But the thing is the way the engineering works is they have to apply the loads of 130 mile an hour wind alongside of 30 pounds of snow at the same time to be able to engineer that will hold up to both of those. So the thing that we find in the real world and what we guarantee is we guarantee this greenhouse up to 7 feet of ground snow level, which we'll show you some pictures of. And what that means is that the snow will shed off the greenhouse. It's specifically designed to this angle that it's at to shed the snow after 2 or 3 inches of buildup. And so as long as the snow can slide off, it will not build up on the greenhouse. And we've had people that have had up to 7 or 8 feet of snow. The snow is built up onto the lower half of the greenhouse, and we have not yet been able to have a greenhouse build up more than 7 feet of snow because it just keeps shedding. So that's, if you keep the sides of the greenhouse, if you're going to get over 7 feet of snow, then you need to keep the sides clear after that.
So with all of the greenhouses up in Truckee and Tahoe, have you had any issues? Have any of them collapsed? Or
we have never had a problem with the greenhouse, wind or snow, in 6 years that we've been in business in this area.
Wow. So how do you attach it to the ground? Are we going to need to lay a concrete footing? Are you okay with pavers, or do you attach it directly to the soil?
Yeah, so that's also another really good question, because it doesn't matter how strong the greenhouse is if it doesn't stay connected to the ground during a storm. And so we have multiple ways that we anchor the greenhouse. 90% of our installs are anchored with these military auger anchors. These are connected to a plate that connects to the greenhouse. Goes through here, and we connect this to the greenhouse every 4 feet all the way around, and these things in hardpan soil will hold up to 1,900 pounds of force. And the other option that people, that's directly to the ground, and even if the soil is more sandy, we just put in more anchors or add a little bit longer anchors, and those go all the way up to 4 feet. And so the other option that we do is some people have an existing pad that they want to throw a greenhouse on, or some people just want a pad. Very few people want a pad because it's about the price of the greenhouse to pour concrete and run it. But if you're familiar with it, or you've been in the business and you know how to do it and you just like it, we have the option to do our tapcons every 2 feet all the way around the greenhouse into concrete. The concrete has to be at least 4 inches, and we need to be at least 3 inches away from each side of the concrete, right in the center. So at the very minimum, if you're going to do a perimeter wall, it should be at least 8 inches, and it needs to be at least 4 to 6 inches deep at the very minimum, so we can put our anchors in and then hold at the actual specs that the manufacturers supply. And you have to just drill a hole through the frame of the greenhouse into the concrete, and then you can just drill these down with a special washer on top, and that will keep us to the wind and snow loads that we guarantee the greenhouse at. And I think it's a good time to let people know that in order for the greenhouse to comply with our guarantee, for our guarantee to apply for the entire 10-year period, the greenhouse must be anchored by us or a contractor. As we said, the greenhouse, we know it won't blow down, but we cannot guarantee the structure for leaving the ground unless we do it or a certified licensed contractor does the anchoring. And most importantly, all that needs to really happen is you just need to know that the anchor bites. If the anchor goes down and starts spinning at the end and just sits there and spins, this thing is worthless. But if this thing goes down and stops dead and you cannot turn it anymore and your gun is burning up, then you know this thing has gotten the proper bite.
So if I have a contractor, they can just contact you directly?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the name of the company is Modular Greenhouse. So what does that mean exactly? Can I build any size greenhouse, or can I add on to it later, or what does Modular Greenhouse mean?
Yeah, so when we first built our greenhouse, which is why we got into business, there was nothing that would hold up to the wind here. And so we built our own, and after a year of growing in the greenhouse, I had an 8x10. I wish I could extend onto the greenhouse, and of course I did. I got the Sawzall out and started cutting the back wall off and kind of rigged another 8 feet onto the thing, and we decided, well, wouldn't it be nice if we could just design the whole thing so that you could just add on year after year, or whenever you needed, or if you needed to move, you could take the greenhouse with you. And so the modularity, if you check out this video up here and in the description, it gives a really good idea about what the modularity is and what it looks like. And we've had multiple dozen customers already extend their greenhouses. We're doing a couple more extensions in the next few weeks. And we've got some videos that show that process.
So what an amazing feature of a greenhouse. So if I purchase a greenhouse from you today, let's say an 8x8, and decide that I really enjoy gardening and want to enlarge my greenhouse, I can add on another section and make it larger?
Yes, yeah, you can add on at any time and anywhere. So you just unbolt the back wall or unbolt the front wall. If you want to go sideways, you can do any configuration at any time.
That is absolutely amazing. So what about accessories? So I noticed inside of this greenhouse we have a couple different sized planter boxes or raised beds. So what type of accessories do you offer, and are those modular as well?
Yes, so all of our accessories are listed on our website. We have our regular raised beds. You can do an 18-inch raised bed or a 26-inch raised bed. A lot of people ask us, why would you do one or the other? It's personal preference. We recommend going with the taller raised bed just because you don't have to bend over as much. You're going to have the greenhouse for a long time, many years to come. It's a lot of bending over if the beds are lower. So with our taller beds, we recommend filling the beds with some wood chips or recyclable compostable material about halfway up, and then filling it with dirt and topsoil. And what that allows is each year, as everything down below in the compostable area of the bed kind of settles and composts, it produces a little bit of heat, and it also gives you a little bit of room each year to add a little bit of topsoil on the very top of the beds each year to give some more nutrients and nutrition to the plants.
Okay, so create a system with the planters.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different beds. All of our options are on the websites. You can check out the galleries to see what our most popular configurations are, but we have shelf beds, raised beds, shelves, workbenches, roof vents, and pop vents.
So I know here, especially in northern Nevada, it gets well over 100 degrees in the summer. So how do you cool a structure like this? Doesn't it get too hot in here for plants to grow? Yes,
it gets mega hot in these greenhouses. It could be, it could be 30, 40 degrees during the day, and it would be up into over 100 degrees inside the greenhouse. So keeping them cool is critically important, and we have these amazing roof vents that work on, they're automatic, so they don't need any electricity or any additional anything. They work on their own, and it's a plunger that's filled with a special blend of beeswax and hydraulic fluid, and it just happens when it gets to be about 75 degrees, it puts enough pressure to open the vents and closes them when they get below 70.
So the vents being a totally passive system, do you have any other options for cooling the greenhouse down?
Yeah, so we've tried a lot of different options over the last multiple years of being in business in the greenhouses in different areas and different climates and elevations, and we found one option that just seems to work everywhere for everybody, and that's putting in a slimline Master Cool swamp cooler with our custom vent system, so that you're not getting the air blowing in just randomly during the night and during the day. So we used to use exhaust vents and exhaust fans and everything, and the reason why we go to this is because when the vents are open and it's hot, the air is wanting to move up and out the vents, but then you have a fan that's exhausting air out, and it's trying to pull air in from the vents and out, and you just end up pulling air in from the vents, and you end up with these hot pockets all over the greenhouse, and it's not evenly distributed. So we are kind of doing something that nobody else is doing in the industry, and we're having intake fans blow all the air in. So these coolers can have water. They've got two stages set on them, so you can pump water through them and use them as a swamp cooler, or you can have no water in them and just use them as a fan, which I'll just demonstrate these popping on real quick. So this would be on a thermostat that you could set at any time, and then when it gets above a certain temperature, this would come in and blow the cool air inside the greenhouse and up and out the vents. So this is really the best option, and it allows you to grow. It allows you to grow in the middle of summer when it's 105 degrees outside. It is 85 degrees inside and with a 40% humidity. So it's just perfect. They require very little energy and very little water, and it's just the best total solution for everything.
Okay. So what about, you mentioned that you have customers that grow year round. So what about during the winter? Doesn't it get too cold in here?
It definitely gets cold. The polycarbonate offers a little bit of insulation, but not that much. If you stay with the seasons and you grow your winter crops in the winter time and your summer crops in the summertime, it's a lot easier. You just have to take the bite off the frost, which is not hard in a greenhouse, because during the day, all the beds and the dirt and everything is heating up to 70, 80 degrees. And then at night, all that thermal energy just kind of stays in the greenhouse and slowly leaves. And you just need, depending on the size, but pretty much all the way up to an 8x12, you can run just off a basic standard space heater from Home Depot. And this will keep the bite off of it. If you're trying to grow tomatoes and exotic plants and stuff year round, like we have a lot of customers doing, if you can bring natural gas to your greenhouse, that is definitely the cheapest and easiest way to heat the greenhouse year round.
So an actual 4-season greenhouse.
So yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. You can find out a lot more information on our website at ModularGreenhouses.com and our YouTube channel. If you type in Modular Greenhouses, you can go to our channel, see all of our videos that we've been uploading. We just got them all uploaded in the last 2 or 3 weeks, so they're all new, and you can get a lot of information on and and see how we do things and how all that stuff works.
Thank you for joining us on our attempt on bringing the Reno Home and Garden Show directly to you.